It has been called by many names: the roof of the world, the third pole, Chomolungma, the goddess mother. But for those who stand at its summit, Mount Everest is simply the dream, an 8,848-meter monolith of ice and rock that represents the absolute limit of human endeavor. We know the dangers: the biting cold, the hurricane-force winds, the thin air of the death zone, where the human body begins to die, cell by cell. And we know its grim reputation as the world's highest graveyard. Hundreds of climbers have perished on its slopes, their bodies becoming frozen landmarks for future expeditions. But this story is not about those known tragedies. This is about something far more chilling. This is about the void, the climbers who went up and simply never came down. They didn't just die, they vanished, swallowed by the mountain, leaving behind no body, no final message, no trace. Only a question mark, frozen in time. These are Everest's ultimate mysteries, the 5 climbers who vanished without a trace. Our first mystery is the one upon which all Everest legends are built. The year is 1924. British climbers George Mallory and Andrew "Sandy" Irvine are making a bid to be the first men to stand on the summit. They are pioneers, climbing with rudimentary tweed jackets, hobnail boots, and primitive oxygen sets. On June 8th, fellow climber Noel Odell, watching from below, spots them through a break in the clouds. They are high on the northeast ridge, ascending what he described as the second step. They are, in his words, going strong for the top. Then the clouds roll in, covering the climbers. They were never seen again. For 75 years, the world debated the ultimate question: did they make it? Did Mallory and Irvine conquer Everest almost 3 decades before Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay? In 1999, an expedition found the answer, or rather, a part of it. The preserved frozen body of George Mallory was discovered at 26,760 feet. The injuries suggested a fatal fall, but the discovery only deepened the mystery. His snow goggles were in his pocket, suggesting he may have been descending after sunset. But where was Irvine? And more importantly, where was the vest pocket Kodak camera they carried? That camera holds the film that could rewrite history. Irvine's body and the camera remain lost to the mountain. They didn't just fail to return. They took the answer to Everest's original question with them into the void. We jump forward to 1996, the year of the mountain's most infamous disaster, when a sudden, violent storm trapped multiple expeditions in the death zone, claiming 8 lives. Among them was Andy Harold Harris, a 31-year-old guide with Rob Hall's Adventure Consultants team. Harris was known for his strength and selflessness. As the storm raged, Harris and team leader Rob Hall were stranded high on the mountain. Harris's final radio call is one of the disaster's most haunting elements. He radioed base camp, reporting that he was at the south summit with Hall. Then, despite his own deteriorating condition, he made the heroic and fatal decision to climb up from the south summit, carrying spare oxygen to his stranded leader. It was an act of profound loyalty, and it was the last anyone ever heard from him. He was never seen again. His ice axe was later found near Rob Hall's body, but of Horace himself, nothing. In the chaos of the storm, some survivors had hypoxic hallucinations of Horace, but no one physically saw him after he began his final ascent. Unlike the other victims of the '96 tragedy, whose bodies were eventually found, Andy Harris completely vanished. He walked into the blizzard to save a friend and was erased from the mountain. The death zone is a lonely place, but to attempt it solo, without oxygen, is to embrace the void. In 1988, Jaroslav Jasko was part of a Czechoslovakian team attempting the formidable and highly difficult southwest face. After a brutal climb, his team made the decision to descend, but Jasko, a strong and determined climber, saw his chance. He decided to make a solo, oxygenless push for the summit. His teammates descended, leaving him to his gamble. He was last seen, a tiny speck against the immense face, moving upward, high on the mountain, alone. He never returned to any camp. He never radioed for help. No trace of him, no body, no backpack, no torn fragment of his climbing suit has ever been found. Most climbers who die on Everest are found. They collapse on the route, visible to all who pass. Jasko is different. He didn't just collapse, he disappeared. He stepped into the thin air at 8,000 meters and was simply gone. We are halfway through these chilling cases, and they only get more mysterious. These are the stories lost to history, and it's our mission to bring them to light. If you find these unsolved mysteries as compelling as we do, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. It helps us continue to investigate and share these incredible true stories. The north face of Everest is a sheer, terrifying expanse of rock and ice. It is remote, technically demanding, and relentlessly steep. In 2001, Dmitry Sinev, a member of a Russian expedition, was attempting this difficult route. The details of his disappearance are sparse, which only adds to the mystery. He was last spotted by fellow climbers at an altitude of around 8,300 meters. He was climbing alone and appeared, according to reports, to be disoriented. He never returned to camp. Searches were conducted. Teammates and other expeditions scanned the vast north face for any sign of the missing climber. They found nothing. The north face is not a common route. It's not the highway of the southeast ridge. To vanish there means you are truly lost. Dmitry Sinev was last seen moving slowly, disoriented, on one of the most dangerous faces on Earth. And then he became a phantom. Our final mystery involves a scenario that is every climber's nightmare: separation. In 1991, Japanese climber Tetsuo Otani was on the northeast ridge with his climbing partner. During their descent from a high camp, a storm moved in. The weather turned, and in the blinding snow and wind, the two climbers became separated. His partner, fighting for his own life, managed to navigate the storm and stagger back to the safety of their camp. He waited. Otani never arrived. He was lost to the storm. But the mystery deepens. A climber on a later expedition reported seeing someone matching Otani's description, alive, but in a location far off the standard route. This sighting was never confirmed. Was it a hypoxic hallucination? Was it Otani hopelessly lost? Or was it just another of the mountain's frozen dead misidentified? We will never know. Tetsuo Otani's body has never been found or identified. He was swallowed by the storm, his final moments and his final resting place unknown. Mallory and Irvine, Andy Harris, Yaro Yashko, Dmitry Sinev, Tetsuo Otani. These are not just names. They are stories without an ending. Lives erased by wind, ice, and altitude, leaving behind families with no answers and no closure. To climb Everest is to accept the risk of death, but to vanish entirely is a different fate. It is to be consumed by the goddess mother, to become a permanent secret held by the mountain. While hundreds of bodies serve as grim reminders of the mountain's power, these mysteries remind us of something else, the sheer, terrifying, and absolute power of the unknown. Everest demands the ultimate price, and sometimes it doesn't even leave a trace. What do you think happened in the case of Mallory and Irvine? And which of these disappearances do you find the most haunting? Let us know your theories in the comments below. Thank you for watching.